been a very bad year for celebrity deaths. The in memoriam segments of the awards shows are going to be very long this year. Prince, Bowie, Victoria Wood, Terry Wogan, George Martin, very sad. And it's still only April. But every other day now it seems I'm required to indulge in national mourning for someone I don't know and I haven't even heard of. Sir Tom Jones's wife died. So did David Guest and some US soul singer who wrote Me and Mrs. Jones. Don't ask me his name. Do these people really justify making the national news bulletins and filling our Twitter timelines with mawkish personal tributes? We will lose the distinction between public and private grief, between real and fake emotion, if we make such a meal over the passing of each and every celebrity. The death of Sir Ronnie Corbett, aged 85, despite what one of his friends said on the wireless, is not a tragedy. Look, the icons of popular culture are popping off. Many more are in the final departure lounge. Please, let's at least try to maintain our stiff upper lip about the deaths of people we don't know, else we're in danger of turning into a nation of grief junkies.
A couple of things. One, I think we need less stiff upper lip. I think we need to grieve more and be in tune with our emotional side. Particularly because I see so many black armbands at football matches that there's regular minutes silence, minutes applause, and I will probably change my mind after I've had my minute's silence.
So you want to have your black armband day?
Me from weeks. No, on a serious note, I think it's a personal choice. I do hate the fact that on my Twitter page, for instance, when somebody has died of high profile, that you have that argument with yourself about, should I feel obliged to say R.I.P.? And
no,
I've made a conscious decision not to never do it unless, when Johan Cruyff died recently, he directly influenced me as a football player.
Sure.
So I didn't say R.I.P. and,
what did you do?
I just related to something that he did on a football pitch that I remember from my childhood, and it changed the way I saw and played football. So that was
So we've got him to blame then
exactly,
for your performances for England.
So he had that famous Cruyff turn named after him. I was trying to get a tackle named after me.
I do feel that's fine. I think to do something but often you see celebrities tweeting like Ricky Gervais or Eddie Izzard, in which you seem to think that the tweet is more about them and about trying to demonstrate some personal connection with the deceased than it is about the dear departed.
Why are you such a heartless mayor over this?
Mayor, as in M-A-R-E.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nick.
Why?
Mayor. I've been called sister of the mayor, but never mayor before.
How does it affect your life? If people
I think it's boring.
Okay,
this is what I... Listen, we should save our tears and put our hankies away until there's something really bad happens. Part of me thinks this is because nothing's really bad happens in too many people's lives. They've got living parents, they've had a peace in our time, and actually Prince dying is the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
The sea change was when Diana died, and we suddenly had conspicuous mourning in this country, which we'd never seen before. And when her funeral, when the cortege was driven up to Northampton, people throwing roses on the car, grown men sobbing in the park, none of whom would have ever met Diana in their lives. And there was a massive sea change. We went from the days of Zulu, standing up there and holding the fort against whatever else it might be.
And it was overcooked,
with the British just crying like children.
And it was overcooked.
Ridiculously overcooked.
Exactly. So you agree with me, Nick?
Was it not a sense that... Was this outpouring not just because people
I was
felt...
sad, but I didn't need to
I got up at 3 a.m. to watch... I was a real hearse jumper for that occasion, actually, and I watched the whole thing because I was in DC, and so very early. People watched it all over the world.
But now you go, if you drive through to the country...
They didn't know her. I think that we shouldn't have done that.
How often do you see flowers tied to a tree, where obviously there's been some horrific tragedy and a car's gone off or something like that? Or you see bicycles now, white bicycles, where cyclists have tragically died.
I think that's important because it shows where that bicyclist died. Actually, I'm on side for that.
Sorry, can I just say, first of all, a new trend at the same time. First of all, we should remember most people don't use Twitter. It's a media thing. If you look at their user numbers, they're falling. I just want to put that out there.
It's an old person's media thing as well.
Oh, thanks.
Most people...
Everyone else is on WhatsApp.
OK. Yeah. But a new phenomenon that has come with public grief on social media has become people like yourself, Rachel, I'm also a journalist, policing people's grief. You get a whole column out of it. You get some nice airtime, not you.
But we don't like sob signalers.
Okay.
People who... use the internet to show what a lovely person they are.
But I think what I was going to say is nearly 2/3 of British people in this country, they don't have a will, right? That we are living like we don't have death ahead of us. No, hear me out. Can I finish?
Yes, go on.
Right? We can get to the age of 40 now without going to a funeral, right? Death isn't real to us for a long time in our lives. And in a weird way, people feel very connected to these celebrities. And it's kind of like, I don't know, this public grief has, in some way, I'm not saying I'm sort of against it, but it's become the way people can express themselves around death.
This is what I said. Somebody tweeted, I'm sorry to keep going about it, that they didn't know how they were going to get through the day after Prince died.
Oh. My friend said something very similar, said today is one of the worst days, she doesn't know how she's going to get through it, and I just looked at that and just thought, that's just weird, shut up. And I do find that just an odd thing. But what I would say is a few things. So there's this whole blaring of private and public, and the whole social media thing has just made us put our lives and our thoughts out there in a way that we never used to do. So I think people don't even stop and think sometimes. And the second thing I would say is I remember when Michael Jackson died, and I might have sent a tweet or something, but I didn't sit there and go, what a sad day. But I love music. Music for me is such an important part of my life. I associate it with so many different things. And when he died, I went over to Trafalgar Square on my own, and it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. There was hundreds, if not thousands of people. We all were singing and dancing. I had a right good time.
And that's exactly it. Part of the grieving process is celebrating. And with all of these celebrities, they've got a body of work that we also want to celebrate. So part of the outpouring of grief is actually saying, do you know what, let's spend a moment dealing with that. I hate the fact that people will judge somebody for not sending a message on Facebook or whatever it is.
Look at our grandparents. Both my grandfathers fought in the war. One of them pulled out dead bodies from a burning aircraft, and another one swam after survivors from when his battleship was torpedoed. Neither of them ever went on about it, spoke about the grief and trauma they suffered.
It was a different time.
Yes, of course it was. We emote needlessly and far too much about the deaths of people we don't know, and we should just pipe down.
What harm is it doing, though? That's what I just want to understand. Because
genuinely, it's soggy, it's soft, and I think we should really spare our emotions, cry real tears for things that really matter.
But how do you know that that's negating that? You have enough room in your life, enough emotion to be able to say, I feel really sad about Prince dying.
I feel really sad about Hillsborough. I feel sad. Those are legitimate tears. Those 96 deaths were a tragedy. The death of an old entertainer is not a tragedy. I would just like us to keep that distinction
But isn't it just
front
a bandwagon,
of mind.
Rachel? Isn't it just people want to... Because I think that what people have is like this fear of missing out, and I think there's this bandwagon that we all feel a need often to jump onto, so to be relevant. So you'll see these celebrities, they're trying to be relevant, they want their tweets read out on things, they want to get on that bandwagon. It's not because they're sitting and crying because they're so sad and can't control their emotions,
it's because they want
on
that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean there aren't genuine people that feel genuine grief, though, with those situations. I had a tear in my eye when my cat died.
Right.
Don't get me started on when my dog died.
Who died and made you the grief police? That's what I want to know.